Hello, resident assistants. My name is Chris Tangent, and I'm one of the resident directors here at Residence Life and Housing at Bridgewater State University. Today, we're going to be talking with you about duty, being on call, and helpful tools for you when on duty as outlined in your resident assistant manual. This presentation will give you an idea of what duty should be like on a typical night, as well as answer some questions you may have going into your first shift as a resident assistant on duty. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy as we talk about being on duty. When and what is duty, you may be asking? Well, there are two types of duties that an RA are responsible for: active and passive duty. When an RA is on active duty, they are present in the office or they are walking around their building interacting with the community. RAs on active duty should be ready in their RA office around 7 p.m., where they will receive a check-in phone call from the professional staff on call. The professional staff on call will typically be calling the office phone unless there are technical difficulties. Be prepared to wait until maybe 7:30 because we have to call every single building on campus that has a resident assistant on. From there, you will be on active duty, which lasts from 7 p.m. to midnight on weekdays and 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. on weekends. Weekends are defined as Friday and Saturday, as there will be no classes on the day following. Any RA on active duty will close the office up and make sure all supplies or bins are back in the office before beginning passive duty, which begins once you leave the office until 7 a.m. the next day. On passive duty, you should keep your phone on loud in the event that you receive a phone call to assist with an incident or a lockout overnight. Every office has a duty checklist that an RA should complete before ending their active duty. It is important that RAs pull up any important website they need on their laptop or office computers in the event of an incident. These reports might include websites related to the position, such as incident report forms or care team forms. This could also include your standard operating procedures in case you have questions about what to do. The RLH staff page where you may navigate things. The Teams app where a lot of our links may be held. And a duty log template to fill out. RAs are expected to go on rounds of the building, walking through each hallway and interacting with residents throughout the building. Rounds should take place during active duty, while on passive duty you still may be called upon. You are not expected to do rounds. On weekdays, Sunday through Thursday, RAs should be going on 3 separate rounds throughout the night. Make sure to stagger those rounds so that residents don't predict when RAs are going on rounds. On weekends, RAs should be going on 4 rounds. Once again, it is recommended that you make sure not to have predictable times to go on rounds. When you are finished with your round, don't forget to fill out that duty log, which documents what happened on each round. Even if there's nothing to report, remember to fill out that duty log. Every RA is expected to take on a weekend passive duty where they will cover lockouts and incidents for a couple of buildings, typically their area. These passive duties take place between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. RAs are expected to get their duty phone and call in to the supervisor on call. When you begin passive duty, it is important that you turn the phone on and use the walkie-talkie feature to check in with the RD duty phone. The button for that feature is located on the left of the screen. When you are on passive duty, you can be anywhere on campus, so feel free to go to the library and study, or visit friends in other halls, go to the gym, maybe grab a bite to eat at Tilly. But do not forget to bring the passive duty phone with you in the event of an incident or a lockout. At 7 p.m. when your shift on passive duty ends, it is important that you return the phone to its original location and charge it if necessary. When on active duty, RAs are expected to complete tasks that help maintain the building, the office, and the community. These are simple tasks that should take no more than an hour across your whole time in the office and do not need to be completed all at once. When walking around the building on rounds, RAs are expected to interact with residents, check their duty list, which is hung in the RA office, check fire extinguishers throughout the building to ensure they have not expired, look for maintenance issues to be placed into a work order, or called into the maintenance phone line depending on their urgency. Remember, if you need a fix, dial extension 1296. And don't forget to check bathrooms for any other issues. It is important that RAs enforce quiet hours and are consistent in doing so. Make sure you don't give some students a free pass and others a documentation. Be consistent. As a reminder, quiet hours are between 9 p.m. and 8 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 12 a.m. to 10 a.m. Friday and Saturday. If a policy violation arises, make sure you document the situation thoroughly, and if necessary, follow up with the person on call. Incidents where you should follow up with the person on call would be any time emergency personnel need to be called. When in the office, it is important to check your emails and make sure you're doing any room changes that are supposed to occur that evening. While you are in the office, you will likely have a few lockouts or have to issue temp cards to students who have lost their BSU ID. Even if it's the 10th time you've had to do a lockout, make sure to greet a student with a smile. And make sure you fill out that temp card tracker and lockout tracker once you've given the card. If you do give out a temp card, be sure to contact the person on duty to get Secure Access, which is one of our card systems. Lastly, it is important that you go around and take down old flyers so that there are no outdated or old information hanging about. When you are on duty, you will learn that there are many tools at your disposal to aid you in checking policies and procedures. The Residence Life collaboration page has all the tools that you do need to be successful, and each of those links are actually integrated in the RA section of the Teams app, so feel free to check your phone if you have it downloaded or your laptop. It is important that when you are on duty to know what resources to pull out when the time comes. Remember, if you have a question, the Teams app has the RA manual ready to go, and if you still can't figure it out, it's okay to call up. Just make sure you've checked your SOPs first. As a resident assistant, you act as an extension of our department, especially when no one is around other than you. So when in the office, there are certain expectations we have of you as a representative of the department and the university. Make sure you have the door open and the lights on. Alternatively, if a student needs to speak with you one-on-one, feel free to have that door closed until they finish speaking to you to make for a more private setting. Make sure you have your name tag on so university officials know who to speak to in the event of an emergency. When you are in the office, refrain from having friends, families, or partners visit you so that it is a welcoming environment for students who may feel intimidated by too many people in the office. There are valuable items and key cards in the RA office. For the safety and security of the building, make sure to have residents visit the office when you are in the office and not stay there alone. RA office computers have limited memory and capacity for information, and they are a bit old. Please do not use any of them for anything outside of residence life work. Don't use Netflix or homework on the computer, but feel free to log in using your Persona account if you need to. Make sure you complete your RA task list before doing homework or watching videos. And make sure at the end of your shift to clean up for the office. Don't forget to securely close and lock that door when you go on rounds or go to bed. On duty, you may encounter situations that are way out of your job responsibility. The live-on professional staff holds a duty rotation just like you. ACs and RDs will cover a phone similarly to the way that you do. And we are on duty Monday through Friday after 5 p.m. and 24 hours a day on weekends, holidays, or when the main office is closed. The duty number for the professionals on call is 508-326-2674. It is important that you know that that number is for the RAs to call only and should never be given out to anyone that is not an RA. No friends, no family, and no students who need to talk to someone. There are a few scenarios where you should call the duty phone. If you are dealing with an emergency that involves BSU PD or emergency services, if a student is a danger to themselves or others, or when maintainer facilities issues arise, or when the RA SOPs say to. The last other incident that you may use to call is if you have a question that needs an immediate answer and cannot wait until business hours or be solved through an email. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility, and if a student is in danger in any way, shape, or form, campus police should be contacted first, then the person on call. This concludes our presentation on duty. Now you may have a few questions, and the typical ones that come up we're going to cover here on this slide. Any questions that you have outside of that, feel free to contact your supervisor or Residence Life and Housing. The first question we get typically is, when do we pick duty? Students normally pick duty at the beginning of each semester, and we only pick for the semester up until finals. How many duties do I have to be on? The average amount last year was 12 duties per semester. Students always ask, what if we don't know when to call? And our answer is almost always, it's okay to call up. Trust your gut. It is okay to have a question. But we only ask that you check your SOPs first. It's okay to call us. Just make sure you know what information we need as well, which will be outlined in the SOPs. What if I can't make my duty? The Teams app allows you to swap duties with another person, which is the main app that we use to schedule duties. Just make sure it's equal. So if you are swapping a weekday duty with someone, make sure that you are taking a weekday from them as well. A lot of students ask, how many passive duties do I need to be on for weekends? Typically, the average per year last year was 2 to 3 passive duties. But as with active duties, it all depends on how big the area you're covering is and how many students are on staff with you. Once again, if you have other questions, please feel free to contact your supervisor. I hope this was helpful, and always remember that we are here to support you on duty.